Welcome back to Factorio Seablock, and it's time to get oil processing going, or at least to make solid fuel. If you remember the end of last episode, we got multi-phase oil down here. It's piling up nicely in this petrochem oil tank, but we're going to need to process it somehow. We're going to need to put it somewhere near the carbon, or at least get the carbon to it, and some of that carbon is going to need to go to these machines anyway to produce carbon dioxide, and indeed down here to go to our sort of filtration unit setup that will, help our ore production. So that sort of puts us in this kind of area, I think. What I'm probably going to do is, because it passes by these and then it splits off to our ore production, is either just take a line off right here going straight down, or indeed just move this splitter, further down, and then, we can pull it off around here, which would be useful. Actually, I think I actually will do that, because that then puts it in the right kind of place. So what are we doing all this for? We're doing it for solid fuel. And there are 3 or 4 different, well, in fact, 3, I think, methods we can use to get it right now. We're exchanging 1 charcoal, fuel value of 5 megajoules, for 50. So 10 times increase. Okay, so we just need methane and a chemical plant, or naphtha and a chemical plant, or fuel oil and a chemical plant. You get the idea. And the other ones we can't do yet. We can't do synthesis gas, and we can't do hydrazine. In fact, let's see what... that's annoying. I really should turn that on, but nitrogen processing... Oh, I've not even got nitrogen processing 1. But it's a direct line, but nitrogen processing 3 needs blue signs, which we haven't got yet. Fine. So we're going to have to do a little bit of just routing stuff through. And let's start with the chemical plants. I think I've got a couple of them somewhere. Chemical plants, yeah. So if we're going to have our carbon coming in here, it'd be handy to have sort of, I'll just put these down temporarily and we'll, figure out the placing later. It'd be handy to have solid fuel from, I don't know, naphtha, solid fuel from fuel oil, and then I need another one of these, don't I? In fact, I'm probably going to need more than one, but let's just make one for now. Don't want to waste resources. And then maybe next to it, the methane. So in here, we're going to have to feed both of these. So where do we get those from? We get those from, let's ignore methane for now. It's the more complicated one. Let's get the simple ones. We need to get naphtha, and we get naphtha and fuel oil nicely from crude oil. Now, there's a couple of different sort of ratios you can get from this, and it's in an oil refinery, so I'll need to make one of those as well. Let me just go and explain it first. So in an oil refinery, we get 20, 30, or 50. I think there's a second recipe that you can get if we had advanced oil processing, which is 20, 20, 70. So you lose 10 fuel oil, but you gain 20 naphtha. All you need is to add is hydrogen gas, but the advanced oil processing, if we have a look at advanced oil, yeah, also needs blue signs. So we can't do that just yet. So we just have to use the base recipe, which is still okay. Not you. There we go. So we're going to get oil residuals. We're going to get base mineral oil. Both of those we can't really use at the moment. What can we use base mineral oil for? Lubricant, polishing compound, coolant, and the synthesis gas that we can't really do anything with yet. But that's oil steam cracking too. So we can't really do much with it apart from lubricant. So I guess we could just tank it. Maybe turn it into lubricant later. Yeah. So for now, we want crude oil. And we get crude oil from multi-phase oil, which will feed a couple of alternative outputs for us back out. So we want the crude oil specifically. And that's going to go into an oil refinery. But we're also getting raw gas, and we're going to get sulfuric wastewater. Sulfuric wastewater is easy to deal with. We just pump it back into this point here, and it goes back into our filtration system or overflows into the clarifier. Raw gas is a little bit more complicated in that we have to put that through another process, a gas refinery, and we can get natural gas liquids out of it. There's not much else, really. Natural gas liquids, on the other hand, we can then use to get methane, which is that other input to this system I was talking about. We'll get acid gas out of that as well, and that's not terribly useful right now because we'd have to use green metal catalysts to make lots of other stuff, and we don't even have the technology for that yet. So yeah, we have a bunch of things to do. We'll have to work backwards, I think. I'm going to want to get the oil refinery, I think, first, aren't I? So oil refinery. Unless I've got one in my inventory, we'll see very shortly. Refinery. Steel and iron, in fact. I think I've put steel on. I have. Not terribly much of it, mind you, but let's just... That's enough for one. Yeah, it's steel we're going to be short of, so let's just put a bit more of that in this sort of tiny steel production, and let me just grab some more carbon, at least for the moment. I think what I'm going to be able to do is just switch over to solid fuel for these miscellaneous stuff, and then we'll start feeding a proper solid fuel line out. I just want to make sure that this just gets maxed, and this doesn't take this long to actually pile up. It needs to ideally pile up a lot quicker. Okay, so is our refinery done? There it is. And its outputs are going to be this way, aren't they? So we're going to have to... Ooh, we're going to have 3 outputs. I'm going to need more land on that. But for now, I'm just going to put this here. And let's see if that... What do we output? Yeah, of course, these are 2 the wrong way around. But that's okay. Let's... There we go, I just turned everything sideways to give me a bit more room. I was running out of land, and land takes actually still a while to make. Ooh, one other thing, by the way. This setup is producing sulfur by this method here, this output. There you go, hydrogen sulfide. It's going into the rest of this setup, so it's not being wasted, and it goes there. However, because we've got 2 of these, and because we've got a full belt of slag here, it's now the limiting factor, but it takes so much room to actually make... Well, I guess we could just make more of those, but then we're going to get heavy mud water. We could clarify that as the output. It's the mud. And I guess what we could do is just another parallel one of these, just with them all doing just this first recipe, but not pointing towards each other, and outputting them. We get huge amounts of mud, and we probably need to speed this setup significantly because it takes them quite a while, but that's a problem for a little later. To start off with, yeah, here we go. So I've lined everything up, ideally 1 to 1. I'm not sure which one of these is going to hold things back. Let's just take a look at the solid fuel, because if oops, not solar, solid fuel. There we go. So that recipe is 100 naphtha. This one is 50 fuel oil, but we do get more fuel oil. We do get more naphtha than fuel oil anyway. So if we go back to here, you'll see it's not quite the same ratio. So 50, 100. So it's not quite double. So fuel oil will hold us back a little bit. So what we could do is, because it's down here, I could just put a tank here and it'll just grab the residual stuff. And the same thing with the other output, the base mineral oil and the oil residuals. We'll have to put in a chest, a box somewhere. Okay, so we're just working backwards. We want probably an oil and gas separator of some kind, and I might want it back here. Let's see whether these recipe outputs are. So crude is going to go into here, the raw gas, and then sulfuric wastewater. Sulfuric wastewater will handle. So let's just pick that back up again. It's the bottom output we want, and I may have to put it back here somewhere. Yeah, let's put it back there for now. And then we'll have to handle the gas. So raw gas, let's see what that needed. Solid fuel, isn't it? Solid fuel. There we go. And that is the gas recipe. There we go. Methane. Natural gas liquids. That's gas refinery. Gas refinery. It's just 2 gas refineries. I think I've got 1. Maybe? Gas refinery? I should just type refinery. It's actually easier to get the recipe. No, I guess I don't have 1. We need steel plates more than anything else. So let me put more iron plates in to basically burn. There we go. And I've got 5, haven't I? So that'll take a little while. I'll make a couple of gas refineries. There we go, that's the second one being made, and then we'll work backwards from this point again. Hopefully that'll inform us where we need to put our oil and gas refinery once we're done. So let's just take this for a second and see what its outputs are. So we want this one? No, we want this one, don't we? We want the methane. Which one is the methane? Methane is the one with this one, I think, so we should be fine. Although, yeah, it matches. We're going to need to then send both of these somewhere. We're going to need to store them, or we're going to need to get rid of them. What I might actually do there is just move it back a little bit. That's refinery. And if we move it back to here, there, we can then send these other outputs this way, which is the main point of that. And this one can go, you know, that's slightly annoying. Not enough to make me want to move everything, but you get the idea. So you can be this. And then that needs an input, so we are going to need to move this back a touch. And is this, let's just grab another, where's the other gas refinery gone? There it is. Let's see what this recipe output is. It's the top. Yeah, so that's actually, I think we can just put one next to the other here. So let's just grab you. Gas refinery. There we go. So if we input raw gas there, and where is my gas separator now? So is it that requiring, where are you? It's the middle output. Okay, so then we're going to need to get rid of sulfuric wastewater, so I'm going to need a bit more space anyway, so let's just move this back. It's the middle output. And grab you. And then the bottom crude oil output. I can't get them both in line, unfortunately, but that's not terribly bad. We can just send everything going this way. And let's just hook everything up. So crude oil going that way. There we go. It's crude oil hooked up. This can go directly in here. We'll see what if it backs up, and we can always put another line if we need to get rid of it somewhere. So sulfuric wastewater, we need to again send it somewhere. So maybe there, something like that, and then we can send it all the way down here somewhere. Okay, and then output this end, we've got the two gases, which we'll have to deal with. Again, usual way of outputting those so that we get... Oh, that's annoying. I forgot entirely about that input to this. I guess we can rotate that. If I rotate it like that, that'll stop that problem. But then I'll need to get the stuff here. So if I just extend that a couple, there we go, and go here, then everything's hooked up back and everyone's happy. Oh, that's so annoying. But I'm gonna need to make more pipe. Let's get that out on the road. There you go. So that usual output. Fine. So that means then both of those need to go somewhere. And we'll figure out where they need to go to in a second. This can connect, and maybe we have an overflow here, so the other ones can be just direct. This one cannot. Let's make more pipe. I'm going to need more copper, aren't I? Yeah, I'm going to need quite a lot more copper. I could make it from other materials as well, but just that we don't use as much copper as anything for other processes. So I just like to build the pipes using copper. And yeah, so we can just make sure that part of that output is there, part of it's there, and then the same thing can go with the others once I have enough. Do I have enough now? Well, barely. All right. Is there anything else we need to handle? I think that's pretty much it. We just need to pipe in the multi-phase oil. Now, I've already done that. I've already piped it to here. So we may run out of room from a lot of pipe works down this way, but we can actually get the multi-phase oil, and I may run it just along the bottom of these buildings here across and into this side. So if we have a pipe there, we can run another pipe. This is close enough that I can just move this end. There we go. So we're just going to run it along the bottom of these buildings. Oops. And that's compatible with everything else. Let me make more pipe, and we'll come back once I've got at least all these pipes in, and then we'll start it up and see what happens. As you can see, I got a tad impatient. Started building pipes with the materials. It works. It's fine. It's all going to be okay. And I think that just for now, I'm going to just flare stack stuff out here. So we want to flare stack. Let's just put this here. And this one can be flare stacked directly. And, you know, because it's just renewable, everything is created from seawater eventually, then it should be okay that we're just getting rid of this for now. I'm not going to worry about tanking it up. Similarly, down here, I think I'm going to put an overflow valve in. I think we've got one. Yeah. So if this ever hits 80%, it's going to overflow valve out this way. And then we'll just clarify it for now. I'm going to need some more land for that, I think. I suspect. Let's just create a bit more land there. That should do the job. If I've got clarifier, which I do. Let's just move it a bit further down and connect it up, just in case I need the room. So sulfuric wastewater is already going back from this output all the way down into our system here, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. That again has an overflow valve on it. And now everything just needs power, and then everything should just pile up here, hopefully. Let's give this a go. So we're going to get some power from here, and this is where I guess we can run ourselves out of power if we're not careful. So that's that powered up. That's this powered up, and both of these, if it just gets connected. Yep, they're connected, good. And then down here, across there, and straight down to our clarifier, or thereabouts. So everything is now powered. Now let's see if anything gets produced. Ooh, we got some gas in there. That's at least a good sign. And it should match, although it's not showing up in here. That is the same icon. All right. And we need an output for that, don't we? So we can just directly connect those. Okay, so here comes our oil refinery that is producing stuff. We've got to get rid of this other output, don't we? So I guess I've also got to clarify that if we'll get rid of it somehow. So let's just make a couple of pipe to grounds. Stone ones will do fine. And then we'll just put it to... yeah, a bit of a slight issue with my pipe work, but not a huge amount. We can get rid of it. And then we need a chest somewhere to just put the rest of the stuff. We'll put that up here, shall we? Do I have any chests? Iron chest will do. There we go. For now, at least. And we'll just output that. It's the only solid output, so that will work fine. And we're going to need another clarifier, aren't we? Which means we're going to need a bit more land. Let's just make sure we have enough for a clarifier. Yeah, it's short. It's not what happens. But we have enough in our buffers to be able to deal with that. Okay, and we maybe even be able to combine those two lines. Because it should get rid of everything. That's interesting. I'm not sure if I want to pollute the lines, though. So just in case that will block things, I'm going to need more iron. We should have plenty. Clarifier, what are you short of? Stone brick. Thankfully, we also have a box up there, see, with stone brick. I'll just grab all of them. And we can make one and hopefully get this thing started. It's just making, and we need to then feed in our carbon, but that should be a simpler prospect than anything else. So, where's my clarifier? There it is. And then I can just feed into it, can't I? I don't even need pipe to ground, so I just need regular pipe of some kind. Let's just use iron to just fill this up. There we go. Off it goes. So you should be able to process. We've got fuel oil. Why is the fuel oil not going in it? Oh, is it just blocked because I don't have any carbon in here yet. So if I just grab some carbon, say, let's just grab some of you, and let's just drag that across the three of them. Yep, they're all going. Good. That's exactly what we want, and they're producing solid fuel. So then all we need to do is consider how we're going to get carbon into there, which should be relatively straightforward, and solid fuel back out. So if we had the split only occurring down here somewhere, we've already got a splitter, haven't we? And then we loop back on ourselves. So if we grab it there, and I put an underground belt in, say here, then we can run our carbon back this way. And then we want a separate line, don't we, for the outputs? Because the outputs are going to go over here anyway. And then we just have our... Well, once I make a few more belts, we just have our belts going this way. And in it comes. We need some inserters, that much is for certain, along with some power for those. But that should not be hard. We can probably just run that here, just make it a little bit, oops. Make it a little bit easier to put our inserters in. And we'll need to configure them as well to dump onto this belt, but that, again, it will be straightforward. So middle for insert, and bottom, whoops. Need to reconfigure you. Need to go further out. There we go. So solid fuel on a belt. That's good. And we need to also perhaps put the offset so that they're filling the belt. Not that I expect this to be particularly fast, but you get the idea here. We need some basic circuit boards. There we go, 126 of the things. Need it for research as well, but that is fine. And then some more iron will do the job. So 1 and 2, and then we just copy the settings from you into you, and oops, not you. Nope, you need to go back into you, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. And we'll set this one to offset this side, and we're done, I think. So now we just need to feed, well, I'm not sure whether we want to remove these setups. I almost want to just feed it in sort of here for now in a preferential sort of way. So if we grab a splitter, we can do that with the new splitter recipes. That's much nicer. So if you just grab one of those. So if we say a splitter here, or even, where do I want it? I'd like it somewhere else, but I don't want to move those power poles. No, I can move that power pole. Put it there instead. It's horrible. I'm going to have to put it back there. Never mind. We can put the splitter here and say our input priority should be left. Okay, so it's going to be this one. So if it has an input here, it will use it. And we can then do a really rough routing job of bringing the solid fuel from here up to here. And there we go. So solid fuel is coming in here. It's coming off this line at the moment, which is the one destined for our ore. So once this takes over, if it jams everything up, which is what I'm hoping will happen, this will all pile up into carbon, which we won't then need when we can remove the rest of this infrastructure here, and we can just dedicate this line here to passing stuff this way. And then we can set on this side that we want to preferentially set the output to the left, i.e. this side, and then that will all work the same as before, except with hugely better solid fuel inputs to our steam engines. So let's see. Just well, it may not be very fast though. That's the downside. That may be why I need to leave this infrastructure in place in some manner. So let's just take a look. What is it short of? It's got that. Why are you not clarifying? You out of power? Yeah, it doesn't look like I can clarify base mineral oil. So instead, I guess we're going to have to just make a tank of some kind. Or at least it isn't. Maybe that only does it in batches. In either way, in either case, we can always do some kind of tank. That's going to need a fair amount of steel and iron, but that should be building up a little bit over here. Some iron. No steel, mind you. That's fine. Let's put it all into steel. Otherwise, the other setup seems to be working. Let's just... I need a tank before I can do anything. I need to put an extra flare stack in here to deal with the acid gas. This is now building up, I hope. Yes, it is. That's processing. Which means this one, at least, should be working. Which it is. And then the other two should be working once I actually build a tank. And there we go, that's tanked up nicely. It's starting to build, but not a huge amount. So we'll leave that alone. You can see here, whenever it gets a solid fuel, which is what's coming along here, it's going to go straight in here and preferentially choose it. Which means, over here, you'll see these boxes are starting to build up. Yep, all of them. So whenever these the boilers, I should say, take one of these, it's going to basically block that for a while, which is then going to, pile up the inputs, which in turn is going to pile up these boxes, and everything actually works pretty well. These aren't terribly fast, because even you can see here, the amount we're producing on the input line is still not being, obliterated by this setup. It's not very fast at all, but that doesn't need to be. We're multiplying the the carbon by not the carbon, the charcoal. Charcoal by 10 as far as its energy is concerned. So yeah, just once again, it's brief input. We got, and what's holding this back from going faster, by the way, is the crude oil. You can see here it's backing up. So technically we could store that. That sort of blocks the gas setup from working at full speed, but the crude oil is working at full speed, and there's two of them over here, so I'm less concerned. All I needed to do is just put another tank down here if I want to, and we can tank up the crude oil. Or indeed, I can just put the oil refinery in maybe right in that spot. Might be a bit difficult to get the pipework to sort out, or something along those lines. But it is possible if we want to, or maybe even here or something like that, and get the pipework going that way. In either case, it's working well, and it's certainly saving us a lot of charcoal and carbon on this line, which is exactly what we want. We want to make sure that our power is completely stable, and then we have plenty of extra power. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this episode. I think we got quite a bit done. We got a whole oil processing chain done to get us even better fuel. And I'm going to need to obviously expand the land here. And then eventually we may well just reorganize this to look a little bit neater. But I just wanted to work backwards from the outputs, and that gets us the right amount of space rather than continually rebuilding all over the place. So, yep, feel free to give a like, subscribe, share if you'd like the episode. And I will see you next time. I'm not quite sure what's going to be the next episode just yet. Ooh, you're going to need more fuel. Let's just put some more in there. And yeah, hopefully that will be pretty soon. I've got Stationeer series on the channel. If you're interested in space survival games, do check that out. And as always, guys, I'll see you next time.